The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTRTV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. The 2022 TNR Master Millwright Big Block Series takes the turn to Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania for tonight's event. Race number 12 in our, race number 11 rather, in our 15 race inaugural Big Block season comes to a screeching halt, but we still have a couple more races to figure out what's going to go on. We've seen the likes of Brady Cornett dominate the season. As of late, Bobby Trapper has found the momentum. Who will find the momentum here at the Paperclip Half Mile at Williams Grove? Let's find out together, everybody. Welcome to PTR TV, where we're going to present to you coverage of tonight's event, race number 11 here on this campaign. Of course, in the booth is myself, Corey Silva, both giving you the calls and giving you the images that you see on the screen here this evening. Hot laps underway right now. Again, setting our lineups here for the feature event here. Of course, 35 laps, 2 heats, traditional format here in the series tonight. Did make sure that we did double check the trading paints. I saw that last week for some reason it didn't work, but we did go ahead and make sure, so you will not see any generic liveries here this evening. So I'm sure everybody is thrilled about that one. But currently top of the board, Zach Weisenfluh. He got that first win of the season finally last week at Fairbury. Has tried so hard to get that first win and finally able to put it in victory lane. So congratulations to him. We'll see how he can fare here, and maybe he can go back-to-back. We've seen a couple back-to-backs this season. We've seen Trapper and Cornett both go back-to-back at various points during the season, but we haven't seen anybody go for the three-peat and been able to succeed at it. So something worth attempting. But here comes Mike Brewer getting the top of the pylon right now with that lap time of 20.576, 3 1/1000ths up over Zach Weisenfluh. Of course, Mike Brewer with the win at Kokomo in early October. Unfortunately, I don't have the point standings for last week. I just don't think they were updated by the admin yet, so don't have that to offer. But we can say, based on what we have available to us, that the point standings is starting to become a little bit more intriguing because, to be honest, Brady Cornett hasn't been dominating as he has been earlier in the season. Those other drivers have stepped up to the plate and really started to give him issues. And of course, with the heat transfers, he's been having some trouble getting through the field cleanly. That's hurt him. He's 35 points out of, or rather ahead of Zach Weisenfluh, but that was as of Weedsport. Of course, with Weisenfluh winning at Fairbury, that will be even tighter. Rochinski, Freeman, and Trapper, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Again, that is not up to date. We do not have the up-to-date points. At least if we do, I don't have access to them, so I will take that for what it is. And do want to give a shout out to today's race sponsor. Of course, the league is sponsored by Master Millwright, but tonight's race sponsor is Mason Dixon Cornhole, actually a company by Jason Freeman, one of the admins here in the series. Jason not here tonight, feeling a little bit under the weather, as many people are. in this late November climate. If you're watching this live, a lot of people under the weather, so we wish Jason a get well soon, and unfortunately he could not be here at what he said was one of his better tracks, as he's had some great runs this season. Still was looking for his first victory. Of course, will not come tonight, but that is the end of hot laps, so we're gonna get ready and head down into heat race number 1. Let's go ahead and give you that starting lineup for the first of 2 heats here on the evening. Going to be first on the pylon for heat race number 1. Going to be Speedy Brissett in that 03 machine with Brady Cornell on the outside of the front row. Last week's winner, Zach Weisenflew in 3rd. Bobby Trapper, always a fast one, in 4th. Eric Bonham in 5th. Jody Tavener in 6th. And then Carter Rochinski caboose on the field in the 7th spot. Of course, Bobby Trapper has been one this season to have some success. 5th in the point standings, as he did miss a race, but has had some issues. Of course, most everyone has had issues at some point on the course of the season. Many of these races have been rather caution-ridden, with cautions upwards in the double digits. So we'll see what happens here tonight. We have a bigger track here at Williams Grove, but the straightaways are very long, and we can honestly tell you, I've turned some laps here over the course of my tenure here on the service, and these straightaways in the dirt cars are actually probably harder than the corners to keep that dirt car straight, at least with the current tire model and physics on these super long straightaways, and then the very sharp corners, kind of the Martinsville of dirt racing that I akin this place to. But I think we are on 2 to go. Yep, we do have the sedan pace car this evening that will get us going. Brissett will start us from the inside lane. We'll see how the groove does change throughout the event. We know that Bobby Trapper definitely one that can wrap the fence with the best of them, but Weisenflew won the race last week bottom feeding. Of course, Mike Brewer talked about him being fastest in hot laps. He is another one that is a master at ringing it right on the bottom of the racetrack. So depending how this track does progress over the evening, we'll see whose driving style that it does suit as the evening does continue on. But the pace car has pulled off into the safety of the pit lane, and Speedy Brissett is going to get the racing underway. It's a Tuesday night, PTRTV. Let's get some big blocks underway. Here we are, green flag in the air, getting ready for heat race number 1. Cornette using that outside lane, got a pretty good jump off the start. We'll see if he can keep that momentum on the outside, keep the position to the outside. He will not be able to. Brissett will be able to clear down the back straightaway, but with the run to the inside is Weisenflew back there in 3rd. Weisenflew will clear from the 3rd spot, go up to 2nd. Cornette's going to go back to 4th as Trapper going to fill the gap in and go to that 3rd spot. Now Trapper trying to use that inside lane. Looks like the moisture is on the bottom of the racetrack. That's where you want to be, at least as of the opening of this heat race. Big dive there from Trapper. May have had some contact with Cornette. I think he may have got caught up there on the inside berm and the wall there, so that slowed him up. Tavener and Rochinski were kind of bystanders by that. Eric Bonham, by the way, did not take to the grid, but here comes a battle for the lead. Weisenflew to the inside of Brissett through 3 and 4 here. And that inside is where you want to be. If you slip up, you're going to cost yourself. At least that's how it seems to be this early in the race. A little bit of contact there between Cornette and Brissett. Brissett will retain the position, and Cornette will drop back to 3rd. Whether that was on speed or whether he kind of gave a benefit of the doubt because he knows he roughed him up, it's kind of hard to tell there. It may have been a little bit of both situations, but that kind of trading of events there, trading of blows, definitely spread the field out. You can see Cornette really pulling an unorthodox line there, really trying to make that top work, but it is not anywhere near. You can just see the bottom hasn't even been touched at all. Still all of the moisture, all the grip down there. You can see Weisenflew using that to full advantage here, pulling away by 1.5 seconds. Last lap though, Bobby Trapper fastest on the circuit with a lap time of 20.5 to Zach Weisenflew's 20.6. Unfortunately for Trapper, currently 3 seconds off of your race lead. So this one's going to kind of go without contest, barring any last-second exchanges here, which could happen between Cornet and Trapper. Of course, we know with our inverts, Cornet finishing 4th would actually kind of give him the benefit of the doubt for the first time. He's always the one that gets kind of nerfed over by the invert. May actually get the blessing of the invert if he keeps himself planted right there, but they are coming back to Speedy Brissett there, so 2nd, 3rd, and 4th under a blanket here, and Cornet's going to try to take the inside look there to Trapper, but not enough space there. Again, diving in on the entry costs you on the exit. That's why I kind of related this to the Martinsville dirt racing. You're so slow on a track like this, you're really almost driving it like an asphalt car with the amount of grip that it does have here. So 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are going to be under a blanket here as Wise and Flew stinking up the show, up by 2 seconds, takes the white flag in heat race number 1. Just running right in that middle lane here and just, you know, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Doesn't need to push it. He's pulling away, and the battle is for 2nd. Trapper did get by the 03, so Trapper will go up to 2nd, Brissett to 3rd, Cornet to 4th, but Wise and Flew wins heat race number 1. And he'll do the drift into turn number 1 in celebratory style, and that should wrap up the first heat. So we'll wait and get situated and let ourselves get set up for heat race number 2 here, which will set us up for our 35 lap feature event. All right, so they are up and gridded for heat race number 2. Let's go ahead on the ticker on the left side of the screen and get you the starting lineup. Bobby Puckett in the 41. He's going to be in that first spot with Brian Rubel, different ride here this evening in the 2nd spot. Kyle Rochinski in 3rd with Mike Brewer in 4th. Jeff Kendrick in 5th, and then Travis Brockner going to be caboose on the field in the 6th spot. Again, with the we had the very large grid last week at Fairbury. Fortunately, some of those guys did not carry over, so did have 3 heats last week, still have 2, which is what we've had the majority of the season here. So again, this will be another 10 laps. Cautions are usually on in the heats, but we didn't really have any incidents of note. A little bumping and banging, which is to be expected, but no incidents of note in that heat that caused us to go behind the caution car. But pace car is already in earlier than I thought there. I thought we had another lap, but I guess not. Green flag in the air for the 2nd of the 2 heats. Bobby Puckett clears Rubel down the back straightaway into 3 for the first time. You see they're kind of pushing the groove up a little bit higher than they were in the first heat. Wise and Flew is about middle low. These guys are right on the edge of the loose stuff here, just trying to dust off the top lane, so that way maybe it could be a little bit more beneficial for the feature. But Rochinski trying to hold on to that 3rd spot as the number 4 position of Mike Brewer trying to take advantage of that. And just behind that, we have Travis Brockner, so 2nd through 5th really under a blanket here. Jeff Kendrick losing touch just a little bit, while Bobby Puckett pulls away by about a car length or 2. So really tight racing here within this heat race. Again, just the different lines going on that very interesting, because the track really hasn't changed since heat race number 1, but you can see the different lines. Turn 1, you can see that little slick spot right there on the entry, so I think that's kind of caused them to drift through the apex there and kind of get a little bit higher than they may want to, but still plenty of grip down to the low side as the battle goes on for 3rd. Rochinski in that higher lane. Brewer trying to slow ride the bottom, which he is well known for, but just couldn't get the power down there on corner exit. He's going to try it once more. There's a little bit more grip in the middle, in the lower lane through 1 and 2, at least as appears visually, but still struggling to get that power down. May have to try something a little bit different there to get by Rochinski, as here comes Rubel again trying that low side up front on Puckett. That bright yellow number 1 machine. I like that with the red, white, and blue number 1 there. Very slick ride. Looks like Johnny Williams in chat. Kudos to you if you were the painter of that ride. Definitely came out slick here. As speaking of slick, all the way up in the loose stuff is Puckett. That's higher than he wanted to go. That's going to give Rubel the bite. They're going to be door to door down the front straightaway. Nearly some contact there. See, the one of Rubel had to go low and evade the slick. Did so successfully. Allowed him to keep the bite. Gets by Puckett, takes the lead. A little bit of contact there between Puckett and Rochinski for second. This is what Rubel wants to see because it'll allow him to pull out to a lead here as there's 3 laps to go in the heat. Puckett and Rochinski still side by side with Brewer back there in the 3rd spot, coming down the back straightaway here. Still side by side. Again, Kyle Rochinski wrapped the bottom, same as Rubel did, but Puckett keeping that car in check, not sliding up as high as he did when he did lose the lead to Rubel there. And then just behind that, you can see Travis Brockner trying to figure out where to go, but right under a blanket, this complete blob of vehicles here. Rubel not really managing to pull away, but a little bit of contact there. That contact's going to send the 41 up on his roof. Puckett's going to go up and over, and that's going to put him back to 6th there, but no caution wave. This is going to be the white flag. Not really going to have time to go check that on replay, unfortunately, but we kind of saw it live. The contact between Rochinski and Puckett sends Puckett up and barrel rolling over through the corner. It's going to give Rubel an uncontested win. Maybe a battle going on for second. Not the case. Brockner, Brewer, and Kendrick going to be your top 4. Very interesting turn of events there. That'll put both of them out. Oh, that whether that was celebratory or retaliatory, I guess we will have to find out later. But either way, let's get ready for the feature event here tonight at the Williams Grove Speedway. Through the process of inverts, Kyle Rochinski is going to be on the front row with Carter Rochinski in the 020 in second, Bobby Puckett in third. We have Jody Tavener in fourth, Jeff Kendrick in fifth, Brady Cornett in sixth, Mike Brewer in seventh, and Speedy Brissett in eighth. Travis Proctor ninth, Bobby Trapper in 10th, and then Rubel, Weisenfluh, and Bonham will wrap up the drivers here this evening. 13 cars for 35 laps. We'll see how this does fare. We'll see what Carter Rochinski does do. Sometimes he does kind of play the respect card. I think he knows that he's not a world-class driver. No disrespect, he just kind of knows it, and sometimes he will relinquish his up-front starting positions. I think he did do that because he has yet to grid. However, Eric Bonham has hit the grid. He did not start in his heat, but we do have Eric Bonham here. So we'll see if Carter Rochinski does run and gives us a full field of drivers. We'll see how the racing is. Again, the racing has been very, very caution-ridden, we'll say it in that context, over the season. Many of the races in double digits in caution. So we'll see what fares here. I do think that with this track at Williams Grove being how it is, I do think that it will spread out a little bit more than the bull rings will. So we'll see if that happens. And I think we only have one pace lap here. Is that what's going on? All right, pace car is just being funky here. So we do have the 2 pace laps here. And Carter Rochinski did not take to the grid, so we will have 12 drivers up front. Kyle Rochinski, we know he has some speed. We know he can hang up there, but had that contact there with Puckett, so how well that's going to go over if Puckett allowed him to kind of acknowledge the mistake, or whether he's holding that as a grudge. I guess we will have to find out, but let's get ready for the A main. The Master Millwright Big Block Series brought to you today's race by Mason Dixon Cornhole. The A-Main is on the docket, and let's check it off. Pace car is already in pit lane, and we're waiting for Kyle Rochinski to get on that lawn pedal. There he is, left front's on the air. We are on the accelerator. Green here at Williams Grove. Huge jump already, almost a second, as they're wadding up, and we have someone upside down. Or do we? I thought we had someone upside down. It looked like Mike Brewer. Caution does come out. a lot to digest there. Let me try to go back on replay as best I can and find something to pinpoint here. I think I do have something right here. We're looking at the pink machine 144, Jody Tavener. Contact from Brady Cornett. The 03 kind of got into Mike Rubel there. Almost put him over. 144 did kind of have a similar event on two wheels, but had that spin, and that put him around and caused the pace car to re-enter the circuit here. So didn't quite get a lap in here, but we'll see how that does fare. And they do have the fast repairs, so if something does go critically astray, you do have that ability to take it in the pits and get that one reprieve with the backup car. Yeah, that was Brady Cornett there that contact did kind of stem from, but kind of a nature of, as I like to call Willie G here, is again, it is a track where fast straightaways and slow corners, you do have to really woe that thing down. It's not a track where you can kind of just send it and the speed is relatively consistent. You know, you're going down very long straightaways into paperclip corners. Everyone has different ways to get that car slowed down. Some guys might actually brake, some guys are just going to lift, some guys are going to use yaw, and however they slow it down, if you're not expecting it, it does cause some wadding up. But once it does spread out, this track is very easy to go up in green for a long period of time. So we'll see what happens here. Getting racked and stacked. Lap number 1 will essentially complete upon the completion of this lap, and then we'll take the green flag on lap number 2. Kyle Rochinski went super early in the box on the first time. We'll see if Puckett and company learn from that and can better stay with Rochinski, so that way he doesn't pull out to a second lead. Well, let's see what happens here. Pace car is already in. Looks like Cornett read him a little bit better, but Puckett struggled massively on that outside lane as the green flag's back in the air. Really hard to read the line, but you can see Brady Cornett in the rusty number 2 machine. He really slow rolled that bottom to success and closed in on the 21. Now he's going to have a look to the inside as Rochinski really high on the racetrack up in the slick through 3 and 4. It's going to open the door for Brady. He's going to take a look to the inside. Again, 21 really going all the way to the top of the loose stuff there. '69 Trapper looking to the inside of Brewer here, who also has Puckett to his outside. All these guys under a blanket here. Oh, 39 got a little bit overly yawed out there. Opens the door for Trapper. They're going to be 3 wide off of 2. Puckett to the outside. Brewer is going to back off and say, nope, I'm not ready for that quite yet. But Trapper, who's usually one ringing the fence, well, that's not a line as of yet, so he's going to have to wrap the bottom as we do have a battle for the lead here. Cornett got to the inside through 3 and 4. And Rochinski not able to do a crossover move. He's just going to keep sending it around the top. But that 21 not able to keep the momentum up there as well as he needs to, because that bottom's still slow rolling. But you can see how slick it is getting down there. That'll make mistakes a little bit easier down there. Make that top come in. But Rochinski trying to stay with him as best he can. Trapper in full possession of that 3rd spot. You can see how well he's slow rolling it there. Already to the inside, or very nearly so, to making a pass attempt on Kyle in that 21 machine. So he pulls completely door to door through the center of the corner, but that's where you struggle, is on the power on exit, because you really need that banking. You really need to open the car up. You can't do it there, but 3 and 4 seems to be a little bit easier to do so. 3 and 4 has a little bit more moisture, and that allowed him to take second. And here he's going to try to go 2 for 1 here. Can't get the power down through 1 and 2, but we'll see if Cornett is able to defend or try the move himself. And yes, he is. He's going to block the move, and the 69 had to back off earlier than he'd like to. Really threw him off there, and that gave Cornett about a 3/4 second lead. Trapper's going to have to dig and try to claw back at that. Weisenflew here trying to get through the pack after his heat wind that dropped him all the way to the back. Here he is to the outside of Speedy Brissett here. He's dusting off that loose stuff up there. Mike Brewer on the top of the racetrack as well, as these guys are battling for about the 5th spot. Weisenflue doing his best to claw through the field here, as he did start shotgun, already got himself halfway through. And just not really anywhere to go, but here comes up front. Then Trapper just has that bottom working, especially through 3 and 4. There goes Cornette all the way to the top of the racetrack in 1 and 2. You can see the amount of space between them through 1 and 2. The bottom not working quite as well, but look at it through 3 and 4. Whoa, Trapper's going to pull the audible right there all the way to the top of the track. Is he going to make that diamond work? Yes, he is. Look at the momentum. He carried off of 4 and into 1. He's going to take the slider line. No, he's going to keep the line slow rolled there through the inside, but that's where he loses the momentum. But what's he going to do through 3 and 4? What's Cornette going to do? Cornette's going to go to the top of the track. Now, Trapper, I thought he kind of guessed for the top, but then had to quickly audible to the bottom. Gets him within a car length here. Again, it's kind of a game of cat and mouse here. Where are you going to go? This time Trapper to the bottom, but can he get the power down on exit? Off of 2. Thought he could, but just needed a little bit more space. That Cornette was occupied all the way down there to the tires, nearly to the wall, but look at him get that bite. Can he clear? Yes, he can. Bobby Trapper to P1. Kyle Rochinski, don't write him out. He hasn't gone anywhere. He lost the lead, but hey, look at him. He's kind of learning what Trapper's doing here. And Cornette, a little bit of contact to the rear Nerf bar of Trapper here. Cornette's just not able to slow roll that bottom, especially through 3 and 4. Cornette just doesn't quite have it. Trapper, again, I talked about him earlier as a guy who can really ride that fence with the best of them, but here he is now ringing the bottom with the best of them. Only thing that I'm concerned about is there going to be a lap where that top comes in? And if that top comes in, is Trapper going to be able to switch to it and figure it out in time? Now, just based on the past, I would imagine so, but you never know. As Eric Bonham on his lid here, as we were nearly at the halfway point. Let's go back on replay, see what happened to Eric. Looks like he was by himself here down the back straightaway, and we got the left rear into the tire wall. We'll get a different perspective from our chopper cam. You can see he was just bobbing and weaving all down the back straightaway and eventually into the tire wall. Did talk about how it's not necessarily easy here to keep the car in a straight line. The way that the physics work, and then just the nature of dirt racing in general, but mainly the way the physics do work here within our simulator, keeping the car straight is not easy. You know, this is the longest straightaways that we do have on the service, next to USA International, which is our 3/4 mile track. So just unfortunate event there for Bonham, who I believe did take it to the garage area immediately. But I think we are set up for a barn burner here, because we do have the 69, we do have the 2, who's definitely on the verge of running that top of the racetrack at any time. And he definitely knows how to do it with the best of them, but what lap is it going to work? How long is he going to keep it on that bottom? That's what we're going to have to work out. But lights are out on the pace truck, so pace car rather. So we will get ourselves ready for a restart. Trapper on that accelerator pedal, green flag back in the air. Cornette did a very good job keeping relatively close. He's going to send it on in there through 1 and 2. Now, is he going to have that momentum off of 2? I think he might have a wheel on him. Yes, he does. Now, what's going to happen? Entering 3 here, Cornette full send to the top. Trapper trying to dig on any bit of momentum that the bottom still has, any bit of moisture. I think we're at that point in the race where we might have to ditch the bottom groove. It's the amount of moisture there versus the risk of missing it and getting in the slick. I'm starting to think the advantage is starting to dissipate, but Trapper still believes that he can hit that little strip down there on the left, and you see he's doing it, but Cornette Still, he has a lot more space to move up. There's a little bit of contact there between Puckett and Cornette, even Rochinski back there, as these guys all digging 3rd through 6th. Wisen flew up to the 5th spot. He's in the mix now, took advantage of that caution to gain some track position. Nearly 4 wide there with Rubel and Speedy just back there occupying some space. Everybody under a blanket here, but you're just waiting and waiting and waiting to see how long is Trapper going to stay dedicated to that inside lane. And as every lap goes by, he's running out of moisture down there, and he's going to have to hit his line even more precisely versus the top of the track, where if the top slickens off, you have, you know, the lane and a half, 2 lanes that hasn't been touched yet that you can still use to find that grip. But so far, you can see he's in a rhythm now, and now he's up by almost 0.7 of a second. Cornette, he tried to slow roll the bottom that time, but didn't gain anything. If anything, lost a little bit through the end of the straightaway there. But you could see Trapper, he kind of hit the slick there through 1 and 2. We'll see if that cost him on the stopwatch. Didn't quite do it yet, as they're side by side between, that's Weisenflew and Rochinski there. Both of them kind of ran all the way up the track through 3 and 4. Weisenflew all the way to the inside trying to pull a slider, but just doesn't have the position to clear. So they're going to pull door to door, and Weisenflew will have to sacrifice that position. Still up front gap, staying within about 0.6 of a second, just to kind of show everybody. Whoa, Kyle Rochinski doing the Tony Hawk there through 1. I don't know how much suspension damage that was going to cause to him, but still hanging on in 5th. But that thing definitely crab walking. Now Puckett behind him. Rochinski, I don't know what he's going to try to get out of the way of everybody, but that thing's not steering at all. He will drop back to 8th. Only has Brockner and Kendrick behind him. So I'd imagine that Rochinski's going to probably try to hold on and wait for a caution to try to pull a fast repair, but we are running out of laps here, as we are now within 10 laps to go. And kind of focusing back up front. It's either lead dynamically. Oh, there goes Trapper to the top of the track. Looks like everyone's kind of ditching the bottom here. Now you get Trapper on the top of the track, it's lights out, because that's where he's best. Although he does admit that he's better on the bull rings than he is on the speedways. But so far, you know, he's got this bigger track here running quite successfully. Currently up to about a variably between 0.8 and a second. And last week's winner, Zach Weisenflew, he managed to get by everybody. Look at him rocking the fence there. I think he did hit the fence there through 3 and 4. Closing in on his buddy Brady Cornette for that 2nd spot. I mean, he's only a second back. If he can get by Cornette with enough time, you know, maybe within a lap or 2. I mean, last time by, he ran 0.4 of a second faster than Trapper. If he can get by Weisenflew, he has a chance here. Look at Cornette trying to run the bottom there. We were starting to write off the bottom groove. Well, we shouldn't have done that. Now look at Trapper. Well, I guess he found out. I guess there's something still down there. I guess I better go find it before Weisenflew does, and before Cornette keeps finding it. So now we're down to absolutely nothing. Top 3 under a blanket here. Here goes Cornette. He's got the inside work and contact there between Cornette and Trapper. Trapper goes back to 3rd. Now it's Weisenflew and Cornette up front. Weisenflew pulls the slider to the inside of the track, but couldn't quite clear for the full slider, but definitely has the momentum, wheels him there into 3, doors him up the track through the slick. Trapper's doing whatever he can to try to get some time back, but they're still side by side for the race lead. 4 laps to go. Weisenflew trying to go for back-to-back. It took him 10 races to get the first win on the season, and here he comes trying to go for a back-to-back against his buddy Brady Cornette, all the way to the bottom of the track, trying to slow roll it exactly as he did last week at Fairbury, but couldn't quite get the power down. And all the way to the top of the track with that success was his buddy Cornette. Now just look at him, he can't get the power down. Now, what do you do in this situation? Do you run the top, get with him? Nope. Here comes Cornette to the bottom of the track. Now, is that a mistake? Is that a blessing? I guess we'll find out how it meets on corner exit. This is where the momentum from the top's going to come in. It's going to come in at the end of the straightaway. Maybe a little bit of a shot there to the back bumper, if anything. Wise flew to Brady there. Maybe try to push him off into the corner a little bit faster than he wants to go. We've seen that move done in many different sanctions before. Why not here, I suppose? Let's go on the rear gearbox of Cornette, entering corner number 1. 2 laps to go. Brady, Cornette, Zach Weiseflew, and Bobby Trapper. He is right here too, coming to the white flag here, next time by. Down the back straightaway within a car length. Here comes Weiseflew to the bottom. Weiseflew, full send slider, takes the lead, but he's in the fence, and he goes around. That's going to put out the caution flag. Where is scoring going to leave him? And who has the race lead right now? I think Cornette should retain it. I think he will, but let's go back on replay and see what happened. My God, crazy stuff going on. Superb racing between these guys here this evening. We're going to go back a little ways here. See Brady, Cornette, and Weiseflew with the full send. Oh, God, wrong camera. Full send slider here, but he got himself into the fence, and when he got into the fence, it ended up tagging Cornette. Let's just kind of loop back for a brief second and see that. See, he tagged Cornette, and then Trapper just went right to the bottom, but at the moment of caution, it still did give Cornette the lead. And Weiseflew is going to be back in, he's going to be well back there in about the 7th or 8th spot. So just as he was kind of going for the fairy tale and trying to go back to back, unfortunately, that is going to be over. But now we're back to where we were before, between Cornette and Trapper. I mean, we've seen a little bit of contact between the two of them as just hard racing does prevail. I don't know if we're going single file or if that's just how everybody's lining up right now. I would sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, so it's kind of hard to know for sure here, but we are in overtime here. The race is extended, so we'll have a 36 lap event here tonight. Pace car has the lights off, so we should go green this time by. Looks like by what the guys are lining up with, we are going to have a single file restart. So is that a blessing? Is that a curse? Well, I guess that is your question to decide. You can look at it either way, but Bobby Trapper in that second spot wants another win. Of course, Cornette wants another win. He hasn't won one in quite some time, going back to the end of October. So he's definitely going to want to get another trophy. But let's see what happens here. All the way to the top of the track, getting ready for a 2-lap dash. Green flag back in the air. Trapper did a modest job staying with him there. Only lost a car length as we head off into one, and he's going to get right into the back bumper, right into Cornette, and Brian Rubel in the yellow one machine temporarily took the lead, and the caution comes out. And Cornette immediately, definitely some tempers going on here at Willie G. That kind of reminiscent from the NASCAR side, reminiscent of Ty Gibbs. And I already forgot the other guy's name, Brandon something. It shows how well I follow the Xfinity series. But yeah, just immediate contact there, and then as soon as the caution came out, what the hell was that, man? Well, at least that's what he was probably saying there. So through that, based on what I am seeing, Brady Cornette is no longer in the session. He is not on the track anymore. And Brian Rubel is being scored your leader, with Bobby Puckett in second and Speedy Brissett in third. Weiseflew back up to fourth here. Bobby Trapper is being scored 1 lap down in the 10th spot. But again, Brady Cornett off the, whether that was a voluntary move, whether an admin is here and parked him, I don't know the exact ins and outs of it. But that's at least what it is at surface level. So you Brian Rubel fans might walk into one, but you're still going to have to hang on for 2 laps, my friend. Let's see what happens. Green flag in the air, and Puckett was on his game for that restart here. Stayed right to his rear Nerf bar, but let's see what happens. Entering 1, Speedy Percent all the way down to the bottom here. Weisenflew, oh, sorry for that. Weisenflew trying to take advantage of the situation up front. I'm sorry for that replay screen being up here, but we'll finally get it going here for the white flag as we have some contact there. Weisenflew around, 69, 62 around, but that is going to do it. And it looks like Brian Rubel is the winner through all of that. I'm just going to go back and watch that one more time. So this is the whole restart here, because I know some of it may have got cut off, but let's see, right off the get-go, Rubel kind of got a good lead. Puckett, I thought he was going to make a little bit more of a charge there, but Speedy Brissett got to the inside, made a run at it. And it looked like it ended up only being a 1-lap shootout, which is probably what threw me off there more than anything. But either way, that is our end result here, and Brian Rubel ends up stealing one here tonight from Williams Grove. Let's go ahead and give you the final race results here this evening. Rubel steals that win there after the last minute events that occurred. Speedy Brissett with 2nd, Bobby Puckett in 3rd, Travis Brockton with 4th, Mike Brewer in 5th, Kyle Rochinski in 6th, Zach Weisenflew in 7th, Bobby Trapper, Jeff Kendrick, and Brady Cornett rounded our top 10, and then the last drivers on the grid this evening, Eric Bonham, Jody Tavener, and Carter Rochinski, who didn't take a lap in the feature. All right, so as we get ready for our post-race show, let's try to get some angle of our race winner on screen, and we'll put him into the waiting room here along with I don't think we have anybody else, but we got our race winner here. You got a copy, Brian?
I got you, Cor.
All right, so first off, how do you feel and where did that come from?
Well, I think it was kind of by default because the 2 guys up front were starting to get into each other, but I mean, I just tried to keep my nose clean and run the bottom like Lance DeWeese would around Williams Grove, and ended up with a win.
Yeah, I guess sometimes you gotta be good, sometimes you gotta be lucky, some days you gotta have a combination of both. You know, you've had a good season overall, haven't really put it on the podium as much as you'd like to, but you've always had a good run. What's it feel like, whether it's kind of inherited or not, what's it feel like to finally get the hard work to pay off?
Well, I had 1 win last season, so I'll take this win this season and keep moving. I don't know, I'd like to thank Master Millwright for putting this all on, and Mason Dixon Cornhole for sponsoring the race tonight, even though he's a little under the weather. I think he ate too many breakfast burritos this morning or something.
He was in chat watching you guys have that chaotic finish, man. Congrats again on a solid run, and we'll see if we can talk to you next week.
All right, Clark, thanks for doing it.
All right, I don't have 2nd place here this evening, but I do have 3rd place. Bobby Puckett, you got me, bud?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, so you were up front for a good portion of this race, and you had a really good restart there right at the end. I thought you might have had a little bit more to challenge with Rubel, but either way, through the follies of what went on there with Trapper and Cornett, you managed to sneak onto the podium here tonight. Just talk about your race.
Yeah, I got a really good restart on that last start, and coming off the corner, I kind of spun the tires a little bit and lost all my momentum, and then Speedy got underneath me.
Yeah, but either way, you still get it on the podium, and obviously this season, we've seen a couple guys kind of dominate the season, but you've been right there in the mix, 4th through 7th, a couple shines throughout the season. So all in all, what's it like to get yourself on the podium here and get some good momentum here wrapping up towards the end of the season?
Oh, it feels pretty good. I mean, first podium of the year, or of the season at least. And I mean, I'm happy with the third place finish.
As anybody would be, man. Any shout outs you want to give before I let you go?
I'd like to thank Master Millwright for sponsoring our Big Block series, and TNR for having our league here for the big blocks.
All right, sounds good, man. Congrats on a solid run, and we'll see if we talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, so that is a broadcast, folks. So here on PTRTV of the TNR Master Millwright Big Block Series from Willie G. It's going to be a light week on the channel. Of course, Thursday being a holiday here in the States, don't have a broadcast for you on this coming Thursday, but we'll be right back here next Tuesday with another one for the Big Block Series, and we'll be back next Thursday with the Red Sox Racing League. And of course, if you're looking for any inquiries, check us out at PrimetimeRacingTV.com. But that's Corey Silva signing out of the booth tonight. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.